Imagine getting into your car in New York, turning on some music, and driving all the way to London. No passport control at the airport, no turbulence at 35,000 feet, no cramped airplane seats, just miles and miles of ocean beneath your wheels. Sounds incredible, right? So, why don't we have a bridge between Europe and America? The answer is a mix of brutal geography, astronomical costs, and some terrifying natural forces you probably don't want to drive over. First, let's talk about distance. The shortest stretch between North America and Europe isn't actually New York to London. It's between Newfoundland in Canada and Ireland, still a whopping 3,200 kilometers, or almost 2,000 miles of open ocean. To put that in perspective, that's about the same as driving from Los Angeles to Chicago. Except instead of gas stations, diners, and motels along the way, you'd have thousands of miles of water, icebergs, and waves taller than buildings. Now, you might think, okay, so just build it on massive pillars. But here's where we hit the second problem: depth. The Atlantic Ocean isn't a calm, shallow pool. Its average depth is about 3,646 meters, or nearly 12,000 feet. That's like stacking 10 Eiffel Towers on top of each other and still being short. Building support columns down there isn't just expensive, it's almost impossible with our current engineering technology. But even if you somehow found a way to do it, the ocean floor isn't stable. The Mid-Atlantic Ridge, an underwater mountain chain, is actually a boundary between tectonic plates. That means the ground is constantly shifting, sometimes dramatically. You'd be building on top of a living, moving fault line. In an earthquake, your billion-dollar bridge could twist, snap, and vanish into the ocean in seconds. Let's say we decide to get clever and make it a floating bridge anchored to massive pontoons. Great idea, until you remember that the North Atlantic is home to some of the most violent storms on Earth. Waves can exceed 30 meters during hurricanes. That's like a 10-story building of water smashing against the structure. Add in saltwater corrosion and freezing temperatures in winter, and you'd have to rebuild or repair huge sections constantly. Of course, the biggest roadblock is cost. Experts estimate that even with the most optimistic designs, a transatlantic bridge could cost well over $1 trillion, and that's before maintenance, staffing, and security. For comparison, the longest bridge currently in existence, the Danyang-Kunchen Grand Bridge in China, is about 102 miles long and cost $8.5 billion. A transatlantic bridge would be 20 times longer in harsher conditions with far more logistical nightmares. And here's another thing: time. Even if we could magically fund it, the construction could take decades, and that's assuming no interruptions from weather, politics, or engineering failures.